Здравствуй, товарищ, and welcome to Wargame European Escalation. I'm Hob Gatling and will be playing through the solo second campaign's first mission, Poland has not yet been lost. The thread votes gave me an overwhelming support in my own hopes and wishes to pick and choose whatever I want to use. And for your trust and dedication, I want to thank you all. The illusion of choice is something that is only meaningful for capitalist countries. The Soviet way is better. We don't have to worry about choice. The Gosplan takes care of all our needs and decides for us what is good and what is proper. And for this fight, we'll go with the units we have available for us. I won't be unlocking anything. If the Politburo at Moscow has decided this is enough for us, then it will have to do. Let's go to war.
Loyalists have fallen back on Leonid sector, but they won't hold there for long. Rebel units have been deployed along our axis of advance to prevent the link-up. Time is clearly playing against us. We'll have to cut our way as fast as possible.
And here we go. We'll have to link up with the loyalists within 10 minutes to assist them at fending off the enemy units. The Soviet way of war is a war of systems. It doesn't put much weight on the individual or even machines for that matter. It's more a complete war where you put two systems against each other and see how they fare. I'm going to pull out T-62 tanks, which are upgraded T-55s. They have okay armor, they are quite slow, but come with a good gun. I'm also taking out ZSU-57-2s. They are anti-air guns, two 57mm guns firing on a lightly armored platform. I'll use them both for anti-air and ground support missions, since they have good firing profiles for both tasks. For most of the mission, I'll attempt to keep a local superiority in numbers. Since the equipment I'm using isn't the most modern available, I'll have to go the quantity route here. The road between Anna to Boris is our lifeline. It's the only route we can call reinforcements from, so if something happens to that roadway, we are cut off. I'll push forward to Boris with CV and my artillery units, capture the FOB there and set up a firebase. The rest of my units will have to push forward. There's a bridge coming up, so I'm going to reorganize my units there, see if we meet any resistance, and then decide what to do. Once again, numbers win the fight for me. Looks relatively empty. I'll set a token force to guard the bridges. I don't want any enemy counterattacks coming over the bridge while my troops are defending near Constantine and the Loyalists. For that purpose I'm calling in the Fagot anti-tank missile units. They are infantry carried ATGMs that I'll deploy in the small forest near the bridges. Looks like the crossing is defended after all. I don't have to kill all the infantry in the house, it's enough to stun them. That should do it, and now we can move on. I'll also try to keep my hind helicopters active. They are good active reserve, and they'll have to act as a fire brigade if something goes wrong unexpectedly. I'll draw the defensive line at Constantine. The buildings are a good place to house my infantry squads, so I'll draw the line in that alley between the buildings and try to hold enemies off there for as long as possible. Most of my units will move onwards to Leonid and hold the bridge between Michael and Leonid. As we now receive control of the Loyalist units, I'll have to reshuffle them a bit. This will have to be done while under fire. I'll leave the last of my tanks to Constantine. I'm gonna pigeonhole them between the buildings so that any enemy units approaching will have to approach them from head-on view. That'll give me the optimum position for taking them out. It'll also prevent any sudden enemy flankers from taking potshots at me. I'll try to move a bit forward, take hold of Paul and the FOB there. If I can keep it, it'll be a big advantage for me during the upcoming fight. Looks like the Poles have snuck some ATGM carriers behind our lines. I'm gonna have to send the hind gunships in to take care of this problem. Our artillery doesn't really have any good targets at the moment, so I'm doing a essentially random bombardment at enemy supply base. It's in a place that at least now I don't have a hope of taking, so I'm dropping shells nearby it in hopes of either destroying the supply base or damaging the units around it and forcing them to hold still for repairs. We have taken the supply base. I'm going to beef up the defenses with a couple of my T-62 tanks. The position in general looks pretty good. We are holding the bridge. Our helicopters will deal with whatever units are coming from Jot to Boris, and most of our units are by now in good defensive positions either at or around Leonid. The ATGMs use up a lot of supplies. I'll have to be careful with my supply chain here, otherwise I might run into a situation where I'm out of missiles and the enemy is closing in fast. A couple more BMPs and some infantry at the crossroads should seal off the river crossing to my side completely. Looks like the enemy is sending first tanks to scout out Constantine. I have good faith in my troops there. Not so much maybe in the Leonid area. I could use some more anti-air around the north part of the objective. Supplies might become a problem. There's only one FOB in the north part where almost all of my units defending Leonid are. The supply base is being drained at a massive rate. Some more units approaching Constantine. This is not the problem, but look at the bottom left corner of the screen now. A disaster has struck and it takes a few seconds for the enormity of it to strike me. The enemy has sent flanking units. They have destroyed my CVs at Anna. Now we are truly cut off. There is no way I can call in any more reinforcements, and I simply do not have enough forces around Boris to stage a counter-attack. So what we have at hand now is what we'll be using for the rest of the fight. I'll still try to take us out as many of those Scott APCs as possible. I don't want them to hook north and attack Boris, especially since Boris is practically undefended. The enemy is still sending token forces at Constantine. Looks like the first large push is just north of the river that divides the map. I'll have to deal with it one way or another. I have a couple of missile units in the area, BMPs 1 spot ATGMs, and of course I still have my helicopter reserve available. I'm trying to accomplish a small pincer movement with my helos. I don't want to approach at the enemy force all from the same direction. Unfortunately, the enemy has a good amount of ZSU anti-air guns. It's not a healthy place to be. I'll have to pull back and hope I don't lose my helicopters here. The Motostrelki infantry is going to take up positions in the complex of buildings near the bridge. I'm hoping they can add their anti-tank weapons to the fight. Looks like we lost one of the hinds and another one is routed, but I'm going to pick up a CV as a consolation prize. It's not going to do much good for me, however. I'm hoping I can maybe capture the FOB here, resupply my helicopters with it. The battle near Anna is almost over and we have decisively lost it. Looks also like I'm not gonna be able to resupply at Jot. The enemy armored column is approaching Constantine, but the positions I have are good. I should be able to hold off the enemy attack. I have lots of ATGMs and guns firing on the enemy armor. This should be quite easy. Another one of my hind gunships is gone. The loss list for this mission will be long. Still, we are holding up well enough. As long as we have ammunition, the enemy will have to push really hard to have any hope of success. The position near Paul is the pride of our holdings. I have a half-full FOB and a good amount of units nearby, so that shouldn't be a problem. The situation at Leonid is worse, however. The first FOB is empty, and to make things even worse, I don't have any supply trucks to ferry supplies over from the half-full FOB. I'd have to send units nearby to get resupplied. As Leonid is almost constantly under attack, I can't pull any units out of the defensive line. That's another company worth of T-55s taken out. I'm I'm going to try and sneak a peek with my helicopters. If I can find the enemy artillery, hopefully I can do some counter battery fires with my own. This doesn't start well for us. My helicopters have already taken critical hits and are low on ammunition. Still, I got a good view of the area, so hopefully the combination of helicopters and my own artillery will be enough to finish off the enemies. The Poles are trying to send Saperi Sturmovits. They are the Polish version of pioneers armed with flamethrowers. It's imperative that I stop them before they can get close enough to use them. Looks like another flanking attack from the Poles. This time I don't have anything nearby to stop them, and they get to take out my last artillery piece. My last helicopter is routed, so it'll have to fend for itself. I can't do anything for it. I'll have to send my CV away from Boris. I can't afford to lose it now. The only mobile force I have nearby are the 4, now 3 BMP-1s, and against 6 anti-tank missile carriers my only hope is to close in at point-blank range. The missiles can't fire if you are right on top of them, but my 73mm guns can. This is not looking good. My ZSUs are out of ammunition. A lot of my defenses have simply dissolved somewhere, and that's again a company of armor. At the same time, the enemy is moving more units in nearby the river, and all my ATGM infantry is out of missiles. Still, that's the last of the flankers taken care of, and I still have 2 BMPs. I also have supply trucks at Boris. If I can bring them in time, we'll have missiles, and we may be able to hold off the enemy push here. The losses at the bottom left just keep on coming, but the enemy back is broken and we win this fight.
After the initial element of surprise, the power of the Soviet military reverses the situation quickly.
And here's the victory screen. We managed to complete all our objectives and our troops did well. The kill list for our tanks is quite handsome. Not so much for any given individual tank, but as a whole it's a large list of kills. Then again, our losses are long also, since our units were second grade at best. a lot of heroes for the Soviet Union today. As usual, I'll be posting the list of units available for the next mission. We have quite a large number of stars available for us. This is Hope Gatling signing out. Peace.